Greetings, Rob Chassner here, and what I wanted to do today on this video was to share a chapter that I'm adding to my book, Debt for Profit, which is a trademarked and copywritten book about investing in debt instruments like promissory notes and notes and mortgages. Um, and what prompted me to write this additional chapter, which I will add to my book, um, a lot of people over the years who buy notes that I've created that want to buy them in their IRAs or pensions with good yields. A question that comes up all the time would be the fact that I'm doing private owner financing secured by the property that I'm selling and financing. People want to know, well, what happens if the note defaults? And when you are offering people who can't get bank financing typically, or buy these lesser expensive items such as mobile homes, older mobile homes, and cars and trucks and business equipment, you're going to, especially if you do a high volume of business, you're going to run into situations where people will default in their payments. And so when people ask me about that, I give them the same answer almost exclusively, and I've done this from all the way back to 1991. I look at a default as an opportunity. And what is the opportunity? The opportunity is to either help that person a second time who may have fallen down and needs some help, and perhaps offer them a second chance where you renegotiate that note with the collateral and start a program all over again. And that gives you an opportunity to earn additional profits in exchange for financing someone who could not get that product financed, but they need it for whatever reason. And yes, people do have bumps in the road, and you can either take the property back and resell it and get a new down payment and a new note at the full retail that you sold it before, or maybe even at a higher price. Or you can help the same individual with a new note and restructure that debt, and perhaps in some cases get a second party to add on the promissory note for additional collateral and additional security in exchange for giving them a second chance. So this would be commonly called turning lemons, something bad like a default, into lemonade, something that's good and sweet and rewarding. So the name of this chapter, chapter 19, that I'm adding to my book is called Turning Lemons to Lemonade. Clever. And so what I'm going to do is to share in this chapter one of the mobile home deals that I've actually done, and I still hold the promissory note on that. And I'm just going to pull up my notes so that I can give accurate information as I'm sharing with you. So now I've got my notes up on the screen and my reading glasses because I'm getting to be an old man. And essentially, this is a mobile home that I purchased and put on my property. I paid a certain price for this mobile home. I thought was a good deal. It was a repossession. I bought it from a dealership, and I had it moved to my property, so I had to pay a fee to have this mobile home moved, connected to the utilities on my property, and the skirting and the front and back porch, and some minor repairs. And so when everything was all said and done, I had approximately $12,000 of hard cash, plus my time involved in having negotiated and finding this piece of property, this mobile home, and negotiating with a mover and someone to repair and set up and connect the mobile home. So, but in hard cash, about $12,000. And so what I did was I offered that on the open market, and I got a contract on that. And so I got a down payment of $1,000, and I got a contract on it to for the buyers to pay me $510.23 a month plus the lot rent. So I get a little profit off of the dirt that I bought on the land. 48 months with private financing, and provide this family with a home where they could not have normally gotten financed to buy a home. And so this family gave me their down payment, and they moved in and they made monthly payments. And the payments lasted for a very short time. But had they kept it the full 48 months, if you were to take what I spent minus what they gave me as a down payment and compare that to the cash flow of roughly a little over $6,000 a year of cash flow for 4 years, that's about a 50% yield. So if you add back in on a financial calculator the return of principal, then that would have been a little over 52% yield on the money that I left in the transaction. But as it turns out, these people made 3 payments and then they stopped making payments. And that was fairly quick after I put this transaction together for it to default. But those things happen, and that's the risk you take. But I have the title, and I own the land. And these people just decided that they needed to live somewhere else in a different state. And rather than attempt to negotiate something with me to release them from the contract, they just picked up and moved and sent me a very informal email that they had left the keys on the kitchen counter and they moved. So I was okay with that. What I did was I had the door locks changed, and I had the place cleaned up, and I put it back on the market. And I quickly got another contract on the property, and I sold it at the same retail price of $21,900. And these people gave me a down payment, and then they gave me installments to add to the down payment to carry us through a period of time until they were going to receive a tax refund, where they were going to put the balance of the down payment that we agreed to and pay that. So all of those payments have happened, their tax refund happened, and they paid the substantial portion of the down payment. And consequently, when you add up all of the second family's down payment installments that they paid and the payments that the first family paid to me, I essentially had left in this transaction of my own money. Well, let's take a look and see. I have the math here in my notes. A little bit under $1,100 of hard cash left in this transaction. And the note that is owed to me at 12% interest on the face of the note is a little over $15,000. So it's easy to see that high yields are available if you stand strong and manage your transactions. And so the yield on this, on the less than $1,100 that I have left in this transaction of hard cash, the yield on this is, well, it's way up there. I'm looking on my notes here. 288% yield on that. You know, it'd be nice to have a large chunk of money, like $100,000 earning 288%, but the nature of these types of deals, I like to keep the deals small denominations in each transaction. And with your management and your ingenuity and your education, the markup in the price, and what happens is your yield becomes very, very high. In this case, it was incredibly high. And so the way I look at this transaction is that, yeah, it was a little bit of a hassle when I heard that the first family just packed up and moved and dropped me an email and left the keys on the kitchen counter. But that's the lemons part of it. I had the place cleaned up, changed the locks, put another contract out, another advertisement for a contract, got another contract, and have a nice family living there. They're paying every month on time. They gave me a much larger down payment than the first family did. And with a very, very small amount of money left in this transaction, and with just a couple of more payments, I'll end up with no money left in the transaction. And yet I'll still have another monthly payment coming in on this, secured by the title for the next 80 or 90 months. So maybe 7 or 8 more years, I'll be receiving an income on this with ultimately no money left in the transaction. And that makes good economic sense. That makes good business sense. So hopefully my point comes across that when you're creating debt-for-profit transactions, the yields can be incredibly high, but if you do any volume of business at all, you will in fact receive experience of defaults. You will receive situations where there's a problem, where there's a bump in the road. You can either renegotiate with those people and give them a second chance and add interest, add additional signatures on the promissory note to renegotiate. There's a lot of things you can do to sweeten the deal and still provide them with a second chance. Or you can take the property back very simply with a repossession, and because real property is not involved, there was just a mobile home in this case, just like a car repossession would be if you needed to do that. And offer it again at full retail with financing, and now you get another down payment and another contract which extends the monthly payments. So you missed a few payments in the default, but you extended the contract. And over the years, I've had many situations where someone's paid for 1 year or 2 years or 3 years and they ultimately defaulted or moved. I got a new contract and extended, let's say, a typical 5-year transaction to maybe 7 or 8 years because I was able to take the property back and resell it. So that's turning lemons into lemonade by managing your business correctly, managing your investment correctly, and doing what's right, doing what's proper with the other parties. I'm okay if someone wants to pick up and leave because I can always sell this property again with private owner financing and make another profit. So hopefully this chapter, turning lemons to lemonade, is helpful to you if you are considering, or if in fact you are doing debt-for-profit transactions where you're investing in buying something, marking it up to full retail, and selling it with private owner financing to create debt instruments that are secured, to bring retirement closer, if not immediate, to you, and to develop great wealth. Hope this is helpful. Thank you for watching, and please watch for some of my other training videos on debt for profit transactions. Thank you.